Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Disgustingly Resilient podcast, and another blight surgery where we're going to be looking through our members' channel tier list. I really think I pressed the wrong button when I started this, or have I pressed it right? I think I've pressed it right. No, I pressed it right. Good. Okay. It threw up a weird error, and I wasn't used to it. It got me a bit nervous. So hello, welcome if you're new here. Welcome to the channel, Disgustingly Resilient podcast. The sort of like dedicated Death Guard channel for YouTube in terms of competitive and sort of casual play as well. And welcome to Blight Surge, where we basically look through our Blight Lord member tiers and above submitted lists. And we do often, if we get some space, we can look at some Plague Marine lists as well, which are like our lower tier members. And if you are in the chat today and you do have a list submitted, we are quite low on Blight Lord submissions, so if you are in the chat and you are in our Discord and you have a list that you've submitted for me to look at, give us a shout and I will make sure to go and try and have a look at that one. Now, I have heard people's feedback on sort of the TTS side, saying that they do enjoy the TTS, but they would like lists on screen. I will say it's a little hard to do because I don't know it's not like a video where I know what lists I'm covering, so I can't just like, I pick them at random, so I can't just be like, oh, we're gonna, here's the list, and now it's on screen in a nice presentation with large font. But what I can do is I can put up Discord for you a bit, so you can sort of maybe see a bit of a mess of like the list, but it's not going to be great because obviously it is limited to my PC size here, which is my monitor size, which is not going to be super helpful for all of you. But we will start with Mulfred here. Mulfred has submitted a list called The Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Rot. So there's a 1990 points. Virulent Vectorum, thanks for reviewing the last list a while back. So this is a bit of an enhancement on a list that was previously done. So this one is again Virulent Vectorum. So what he said is that basically he has took out 2 Mephitic Blight Halls from last time, a Tallyman, 1 squad of 5 Plague Marines, 1 Lord of Contagion, and 1 squad of 3 Death Shroud Terminators. And he's added in 3 HBL drones, so 3 fetid bloat drones with heavy blight launchers, a Chaos Spawn unit, and a Lord of Virulence. Now, currently, they're considering removing Furnace of Plagues from Lord of Contagion, using it to get a Demon Weapon of Nurgle, and removing Chaos Spawn for a normal bloat drone or another Blight Hauler. So, let's have an actual look at the list they're going to be putting together here. So, give me 2 seconds while I build the list on here. Let's have a look. Oh, God, that's going all weird. There we go. So, first up, we've got the Demon Prince of Nurgle. This is the one that's going to be rocking the ever so important Feel No Pain enhancement inside Virulent Vectorum. So we have the Demon Prince of Nurgle here. Then we're going to have a Lord of Contagion with the Furnace of Plague. So very expensive but very, very hard-hitting character here. With a +1 strength, +1 attack, and devastating wounds, really helping put out that extra damage. Now we've got a Lord of Virulence in here. Where are you, Lord of Virulence? There you are, Lord of Virulence. We grabbed you. Now we need, I'm just a second, Malignant Plaguecasters. So we've got 2 Plaguecasters, so we might be going for a cheeky Plague Bus here. We might be seeing a cheeky Plague Bus. I always love a good cheeky Plague Bus. Then we have Mortarion. Okay, we've got Big Man himself. Big Man himself is also here. And a Tallyman who's going to be probably sitting on home by the looks of it. Boom. And then we have a Chaos Rhino in here. So that's definitely Plague Busted. Let's get the Rhino. There we go. We have Rhino. We have 1 squad of 2 Chaos Spawn, not 2 squads of 2. That is quite different. 1, 2. So we've got Chaos Spawns as well, which is a great little scoring piece, sort of trading unit. 3 Death Shroud Terminators. Obviously, can't leave home without a squad of Death Shroud Terminators now, can we? And then, backing this up, we have 1, 2, 3 HBL drones with the launchers. So we're going boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3 of those buggers. So nice little long-range shooting contingent there. We've got 1 Mephitic Blight Hauler and 3 squads of 10 Poxwalkers. Let's grab them real quickly. There we go. Okie dokie. So Control C, Control B, Control V. Nice. Right. So this is the list in its full. We just make it look a bit nicer, a bit neater. So Tallyman there. Lord of Virulence looks like he's going to be solo. Solo Dolo. That. These 2 together in the Plague Bus. And we have a solo Mephitic Blight Hall on the side. So, quite a condensed list, if I'm being honest with you. But obviously, it's kind of the nature of the beast when you're rocking these Mortarion Demon Prince. This is Virulent Vectorum Johnny Combo. And hello to everybody in the chat. Chaos Lord Zar, Johnny Combo, Zarduk, Zahakil, and Mr. Orange, and Hugh Janus. He always gets me that one. Just got back from the game club. Hey, man, did you have a good game? Did you win? So in this instance here, we are a bit low on thingy on units. Well, not units. The actual unit count is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's actually not too bad, but we are obviously quite elite with how we're playing. But again, that's kind of the nature of the beast when you play this detachment. It is just the kind of how it operates because of Mortari and Demon Prince. Now, at its core, it's pretty damn solid. Now, it can be a little bit of a struggle at the moment into things like Victrix Guard, just because they are an absolute pain. Now, Mortari is actually pretty good into Victrix Guard. T12 is not something Victrix particularly like. They, on maximum of strength 6, they can get lance, so they are super oath. So they wound Morty on 5s at best, 6s not without any buffs up, which is pretty good for Morty. Means it only damaged 2 as well in Virulent Vectorum. Especially this detachment with the Demon Prince being here and a Teleman, you're gonna have plenty of CP, so you're able to consistently make those guys damage 1. Which is really good for keeping Mortarion alive. Mortarion's sweep is actually pretty good into them. He hits them on 2s, wins them on 3s, but he does a lethal sustained. And it's something like 14 attacks, something stupid. I think it's, 14 or something. No, it's 14 attacks in it. It's been a while since I played Morty. So that's going to be quite powerful against them, just being able to put a lot of damage. And he's AP2 naturally, so even with the -1 save contagion, he's AP3 on the sweep attack, which is really important because they're probably going to armor contempt, so at least you give him a 4-up save. This Lord of Contagion here is also incredibly powerful. Now, the interesting thing here, though, is we've got the... So, as you were saying, you have the list where... Sorry, you have the enhancement for +1 strength, +1 attack, +1 devastating wounds. Now, the dev wounds are pretty nice, but the problem with that is the +1 strength and the +1 attack, if you're in a meta like Victrix Guard and stuff are strong, like, the +1 attack is okay, but really what you're looking for is strength breakpoints. Now, the strength breakpoint of this guy does not matter because you're already lance and +1 to wound. Now, if you're in a meta with lots of T10 vehicles, or T10 vehicles and T9 even, no, T10 particularly, T11 does matter though, you are going to get a lot of value out of that +1 strength. Now, if you don't have a meta that's got a lot of high toughness units, so you're again like Victrix Guard or a lot of Guard, for example, you often will do better with the crit 5s enhancement because not only are you are losing a strength, admittedly, but you don't need if you're going into things like Guard. Now, again, Lehman Russes are an interesting one because a lot of T10 Lehman Russes, so if they're quite Russ heavy, then you kind of want their Furnace of Plagues, but if there's a lot of infantry, the crit 5s for more sustained proc chances can actually get you a higher ceiling because you got to remember, so technically, with Furnace of Plagues, you, on average, will have 6 attacks, 1 will be a sustained, so realistically you have 7 attacks, which is good. Now, the Demon Weapon of Nurgle, you'll have 5 attacks base with sustained, but you'll have crit 5s, so the odds say you get about 2 of them to be crit, so it does bring you up to the same attacks profile, but obviously there is the potential, and it's a lot easier to spike higher on 5s and 6s to crit, so realistically that could easily make like 8 attacks quite easily. Now, Dev Wounds is neither here nor there, really, because they don't really have any way to reroll wounds in this attachment in close combat. Like, you can't fish for Dev, it's just kind of one of those, if it happens, it's nice. Now, to be fair, it is nice against Victrix Guard, because it does mean that you basically can Dev Wound and get through any sort of, like, 2-up save plus armor contempt, because best then you put in one is a 4-up save with the -1 save contagion and AP2. So having the ability to just get round armor saves entirely is nice, but again, he doesn't have the weight of attacks or the rerolls to sort of like force through Dev Wounds. Now, one cool and interesting thing, however, is if your opponent's trying to be cute with it and they sort of obviously they tank it on their shield guys first, the Dev Wounds obviously can then just go straight through that invulnerable save. But if they try and be cute and save the shields to last, so that they can try and have Calgar tank with a feel no pain once the squad's dead, because that's a trick that he can do, it means that the Dev Wounds are always applied last, so if they do fail a bunch of Victrix Guard saves and all the Victrix Guard dies, and they save the shield guys to last because they had Calgar in there, the shield guys will then eat the Dev Wounds, because Dev Wounds always come last, and then they'll just die straight through their invulnerable save. So it has a potential to just punk one of those guys, which is quite nice, to be honest, because I believe those guys are 4 wounds still as well, which is really annoying for some reason. So it's a nice little thing there, but in general, it depends what you get for your 15 points, because 10 to 25 points, 15 points is quite good. Now, in your instance, you said you're considering swapping these guys out for like another hauler or another bloat drone, like a standard bloat drone. Now, I'm not against that, because what this does is this kind of takes you more in sort of a way where it's like skewy a bit. Like, you've got T9 all here, and you've got 2 big T12 threats. So realistically, like, in this scenario here, most anti-infantry weapons are kind of just not going to do too much to your army. But that being said, bringing another hauler in here can limit your ability to get contagion where you want it to go, because spawn, they are not faster than the haulers, but the capacity for them to move through walls is quite important for being able to spread contagion, get it to places you want to be, especially if you're going to go for a drop turn. Now, because you've only got the 1 squad of Death Shroud rather than the 2 squads of Death Shroud, it's a little less important for the spawn to be absolutely there. Like, these guys will get into range. You've also got 3 squads of Poxwalker, so I think you could make a better argument for basically trying to check someone by having a lot of shooting. And again, these guys can trade still. These guys can trade pretty well. So you're basically just going to shoot people away. The Lord of Realms is going to sit back and score points. Plague Bus can obviously come out and do some damage as well. So there is an argument like this list here can do sort of like the game where it's, hey, I have this toughness 12 loan up. I've got Mortarion. You have to come and check me at some point on my Morty and my T12 threats. Because if you don't, I'm going to kill you from just basically standing objectives and winning the game. And then obviously the second they do step out, you can shoot them with the full rerolls to hit from the Lord of Virulence, plus the Virulent Vectorum stratagems for the rerolls all shot amounts, which is pretty good. Morty's a great countercharge threat as well. Now I will say, this list archetype has been struggling a little bit before the data slate. Now I do think when the data slate came out, because again this list archetype got absolutely rinsed by Eldar, Morty just couldn't play the game basically. Now with Eldar Fire Dragons being gone, that does mean that Morty is looking better in the meta. Better in the meta. A little bit of a rhyme there. So I think this could, like, this list archetype could make a bit of a comeback here. But again, you just have to be aware. I think the one place this list might struggle with is into Guard, because Guard is just not a good matchup for Death Guard in general anyway, because there's just so many waves of crap, and you're going to struggle to get through those waves of crap, because for example, like the Blow Drones can shoot Guard, but they have unreliable shots to kill like 10 guardsmen, and there's going to be waves, and then Bullgrin are going to come in, and Morty really doesn't like Bullgrin, because the -1 damage really screws over his sweep attack, which is not great. So it's one of those, if you see a lot of Victrix Guard in the meta, I think this list will be fine. I still think it's an uphill battle because of the nature of Victrix Guard and the Ultra Range just being forced as fuck right now and being really, really powerful, which is not great. But I think Guard is going to be probably the worst matchup for this one. But if you're in a meta with more standard armies and a more balanced break, branch where people are just playing what they enjoy, I think this list could make a comeback because, again, people are not teching for T12 right now. They're not. Knights are not great. Imperial Knights are rubbish at the moment. Chaos Knights have been taking a bit of a nerf and aren't doing too hot, but they still show up every now and then, but it's not on everyone's mind. The Fire Dragon Bricks has gone away, so like T12, again, people are think about what people are prepping for. It's Victrix Guard, Blood Angels, we're also taking for that. Again, Blood Angels is just T4, it's just Marine bodies, so you've got a lot of Marine bodies there. Admech is tons of bodies, so again, nothing T12 there. The only thing that sort of like could catch you is if people are taking for like Rogel Dawns, because we know Guard's going to be doing really well with Grizzled Company, so that could catch you a little bit of fire. But even outside of that, the main problem with Guard is not trying to kill the tanks in the backline, it's trying to kill like the Bullgrin up front, the screen, so you don't just not get to hold any primary all game. So I don't think T12 is the biggest thing on people's minds right now to try and kill, especially T12 Feel No Pain, that can also heal itself and is actually pretty scary in melee. So I think Morty and the Demon Prince can actually do quite well. Again, even just for tank, because in that Victrix Guard matchup or anything, the only thing I'd be slightly scared of, and I'm not even that scared of it too much, is Rage Cursed Onslaught Blood Angels. But again, in Rage Cursed Onslaught, they don't have access to on-demand Lance. They have +1 AP and +1 attack. Now, both of these are 4 vulnerable. These T12 targets, don't really care about that. Morty is T12, so the best they're going to get is +2 strength on the charge, which takes chainswords like strength 4, from strength 4 to strength 6, still win you on 6s. Hammers and fists go from strength 8 to 10, still win you on 5s. Sanguinary Guard, the best thing they have, they can wound you on 4s at best, but again, only 2 damage. You can -1 damage that. I don't think it's the biggest threat. I think this list here would do better than, like, for example, my Taliban list would probably struggle a bit against Rage Cursed Onslaught, whereas a list like this can really check. Like Blood Angels, if they have a go turn and they fail it because they don't have access to that Lance and Lethal Hit stratagem, because they don't have either of those, then this list can absolutely body them back in record time, like really badly. Like Lamatis does not like the Bloat Drones because, again, yes, he's -1 damage, yes, they can fire up Feel No Pain, but the 3 damage still takes their 2 damage, which is not 2 to 1, which is the big problem. If the Death Shroud go in, they could just elect to sweep instead. They're still wounded on 2s, they're still hitting on, they hit on 3s admittedly, but they're wounded on 2s now, because you still get your Lance, and you put, and your T3 or Strength 4, and you just ignore the -1 damage because you flat 1 damage anyway. So you're just like, cool, here's some AP2 sweeps, Have fun with that one. I've negated one of your defensives already. Yes, you have a 5 feel no pain. That is annoying. And it is annoying. But then the Lord of Contagion also comes with his flat 3 damage weapon. And that can also sweep if he wants to. So, again, it's good because it gives you that option if you're going with... if you're going into something like... Not like... Again, quite often you'll see a Lamati squad and a non-Lamati squad. Or Sanguinary Guard. Like, obviously, you just go with your slams there. The Lord of Contagion absolutely claps Sanguinary Guard. It's really funny. But if you do end up going to Lamatis, you can just alternate your profile to the sweep profile, do a lot of damage that way still to your opponent, which is really, really good. Plague Bus in general is just good. I just really like the Plague Bus. I think it's super versatile for what it does. I always like to have 5 Plague Marines in my Plague Bus, but that's just my personal preference and like how I like to play. I just like the OC sort of denial, the tricks that you can do with like disembarking and things like that. But again, that... It does put more onus on using the Plague Bus correctly. So I would say if you're new to Plague Busing, just take this. This is totally fine still. It's great for actions, great for shooting. Takes a lot of people by surprise. Is good for killing screens. And again, even with here, you can do weird things with it where you can put the Rhino out. You can even disembark a guy in this instance because Mortarion can obviously react to even getting back inside. So if you have like a guard screen in the middle, or just like a 5-man squad steps into the middle, you can potentially put a playcaster on the middle objective with them, shoot them, do a bunch of damage to them, potentially wipe the squad if you get lucky in your shots. Maybe you do 9 shots and you kill the squad with the AP3 stood right in front of them. It was just some scouts, for example. And then if they then need to come towards the middle or anywhere within 9 of him, you can react to him back behind the wall, get back inside the Rhino because of Mortarion was like sat behind the wall as well. So there is little tricks there. I do think so. Like overall though, for your list, I do think like I like it in general. I think it's not got the greatest guard matchup. Which list for us really does at the moment. It can be a bit rough. I'm not gonna lie, but I think if there's a time for Mortarion to sort of like come back into the limelight, it's probably now. Because again, I don't think Victrix guard particularly like Mortarion. It depends what's backing up the Victrix. Obviously, if it's like triple Gladiator Lancer, then that's obviously going to be rough. But a lot of it's not. A lot of it, we see like Redemptor Dreadnoughts, you don't really care about that too much. Again, strength 10 on the Plasma. Damage 3 hurts, but again, you can -1 it if you really care. But again, it's 5s to wound, 4s at best with oaths. It's one of those, it's interesting, you have to sort of like know your opponent's list and what they're going to be doing. But I think in general, if we were to bring Morty back right now, I probably would go with the Hauler, by the way, just again, to have this sort of like higher toughness than average skew list. And I don't think the spawn is particularly super important here. There's nothing that particularly needs contagion spreading super hard. Like, worst case scenario, if you're really desperate, you've obviously got 3 infiltrating units here. You can have, the Rhino can drive up or even just shoot a single playcaster out who can go and move up and do his own thing. The Blight Halls can play forward as well. So I think this is still a good detachment and still a good strong list now. Better than before because of the absence of Fire Dragons in the meta. That was the one thing that was really sort of like took it from the top. And Tau. Tau is not great for them. But I don't think Tau's having a great time right now because the Rage Cursed Onslaught and Ultramarines exist who just absolutely shit on them. Which is kind of funny. And also Guard. The Tau did not really like Guard that much either. It's a bit rough for them. So yeah, so thank you for submitting that, Mulfred. I do think, yeah, I would do that one change that you suggested. I probably would drop the enhancement, upgrade the spawn to a second hauler. Depends how much use you're getting out of your spawn, but right now I think this list can play most things anyway, and the contagion spreading capacity for you is not as heavy required because you've only got the 1 squad of Death Shroud Terminators. Okay, move on to the next one. So do we have anyone in chat that obviously wants their list looking at? Can you stop zooming in on that, please? Camera. And we'll go through theirs. I'm going to also peek into Plague Surgery because we don't have too many in the Blight Surgery right now, which means Plague Surgery is your chance to sort of shine a bit. So I'm going to go with Locustar because he literally just posted it, which means he's probably in the chat right now. So Mr. Locustar, are you in the chat, my good sir? And hello to Roland, hello to Necros, and hello to Patrick Dudgeon as well. And hello to Rug as well. Oh, your friend is your friend's switching to Aeldari. Ooh, bleh. Your friend is... What was he playing before that? It was Custodes. Okay. No, I still don't like any of that. Anti-Aeldari Nuggets, you have to go aggressive. You just have to run at them. You just have to... You can't play an Elves game. Elves want to dance around the battlefield, picking all the engagements, picking you off bit by bit, and then all in you. Just pressure them. You got to pressure them. You're just going to go at them. You got to put pressure on them. As soon as their game plan falls apart and their stuff starts dying, they can drop off real quick. But you have to get on top of them, put pressure. Like, don't be stupid. Don't like go stand in the open because they'll table you at record speed. But pressure them. Make sure they're having to sort of react to you pushing into them rather than them just getting to pick you apart over time. That's the best advice I can give for sort of anti-Eldar nonsense. Okay, Locustar. You are still typing. So this is a Shamble Rot Detachment Zombie Horde. Again, I'll just put it on here for you very quickly so you can try and have a looky-see if anyone can see that there. This is the list. You probably won't be able to see it, to be honest with you. I don't know how big you've got your screen. But again, I'll build it for you, and I'll try and find a way to get it onto the screens for you to see a little easier, but it's a bit hard. Like I said, I do these impromptu. They're not pre-done videos. They are live streams, which makes it a bit harder. Okay, so we're playing Shamble Rot Victorium here. So, first things first, we need a Lord of Contagion. So let's grab our Lord of Contagion from over here. There we go. So we have a Lord of Contagion, and we have the Plague Bus again. People are really enjoying this Plague Bus. Love to see it. Love to see the Plague Bus. Always my favourite. Noxious Blightbringer with a Talisman of Burgeoning. Now, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat, because this guy can take 2 enhancements, but I believe Talisman is the +1 toughness enhancement. So there's going to be a squad of toughness 5 Poxwalkers, which I do not mind. Do quite like that. We need Typhus, Mr. Typhus. There you are, Typhus. Then we're going to have 1, 2, 3 squads of 20 and 3 squads of 10 Poxwalkers. Okie dokie. Let's grab the 10s. So 3 squads of 10. And then 3 squads of 20. So these guys are going to be in 20s. So let's arrange these guys real quickly. 1, 2. So kind of satisfying, isn't it, to see all these zombies? I won't lie. There is a strange satisfaction to Shamble Rot when you see it all. 3 squads of 20 zombies. Baboosh. There we go. There we go. And 3 squads of 10 zombies. Now, bear in mind when we play Shamble Rot, we are technically going to be having another squad of 3 10s. So realistically, there's another 3 squads of 10. I'll put them in at the end, just so we can visualize it a bit better. Then we have a Chaos Spawn unit. Let's grab a Chaos Spawn unit again. Then we're going to have 1 squad Death Shroud Terminators in here. So again, we love our Death Shroud. We're always going to have some Death Shroud. Death Shroud Terminators. Pull them back. Death Shroud Terminators there. Then we're going to have a normal Fetid Bloat Drone and 3 HBL drones. So 1 kilo Death Shroud. 1, 2, 3 HBL drones. 1 normal Bloat Drone with a Flesh Mower. Just a bit of forward pressure in units here. Where have they gone? There they are. Boom. And then we got 1, 2, 3 Mythic Blight Haulers as well. Okie dokie. So, this is going to be a bit big, this list, so bear with me a second while we sort of arrange this, because these lists are quite big, quite scary. Right. So, there's sort of like... Shamble Rot, I think, when it first got previewed, was kind of misunderstood by a lot of people. I think... Well, maybe not so at first when our book just came out. Book was kind of overpowered, won't lie. Points cost were too low. But Shamble Rot, upon initial inspection, does look like a absolute just swarm the board kind of list. And in a way, it can be that. So, I'm just going to... 2 seconds. I just need to get a nasal spray because my nose is pissing me off. Oh, sorry about that. Bloody allergies killing me. Okay. So, the way it's kind of like... There's more people have sort of... oh, no plague... Oh, no bus. There's no bus. Okay. Yeah, I just didn't see... I just see 2 plague buses and imagine a plague bus. Right, so it's kind of like this then, I'm going to assume? This. Okay. So... There we go. Let me spread this out a bit more. So we've got 1 caster there, 1 caster there... So, caster in each 20-man zombie squad. We've got some infiltrating guys. So, what people have realised the more they've played Shamble Rot is that it is a board control list in a sense, but the problem that it has is zombies themselves deal literally no damage, like almost negative damage, which is not ideal. Because even Kroot, for example, have stuff like Rampage and things that can do a bit of damage. And Kroot have the invulnerable save. They can be a bit annoying, but they're also just naturally faster. So you have slow and no damage. So what people have actually realised and started doing is that they basically use Poxwalkers purely as screens and mobility and board control pieces. And you back that up with a metric ton of shooting. So as we can see here, we've got triple HBL drone. That is a great, like, again, shooting package here. Love to see that. Triple Mythic Blight Hauler, also enjoy that, which is pretty good. Again, I really like these guys because they're always self-sufficient. A normal Fated Bloat Drone with the Mower, I probably would prefer the Spitter here because the Mower, again, has to sort of kind of awkward moments where you kind of fight in your own board control to get a charge off, and sort of like means you need to kind of leave a gap for it. Obviously, you're fly, but like again, it's where you can land and things like that. So you kind of like need to leave space for it to finish a move somewhere when really you might just want to block that off. Whereas the Spitters can just shoot over your Plague Bearers. So I do prefer that as Spitters personally. Now the Chaos Spawn are a little redundant. Because, and again, it's mainly because you've got 3 bricks of 20 and 3 squads of 10 here. I think that's a little too much. Like, you're going to have scoring out the wazoo already. And I think, again, these guys could potentially just be something a little bit more impactful on the game. Not saying they're terrible, though, because, again, it's all about points and what can you actually get to fit in the points for the 85. There's not much in Death Guard for like that. Unless you can get enough for finding another 20 and getting a bloat drone somewhere, you're going to struggle with that. Now, you do have a Death Shroud squad here. Death Shroud are sometimes they're not taken in Shamble Rot. I still think they have a place. It is still a very hard-hitting unit. You obviously have the ability to basically permanently contagion someone that kills a squad of Poxwalkers in combat, which is really good. Now, what I would say here is the Playcasters, if I'm being super honest, Sustained Hits 1 does not make these guys deal any damage. They just suck. And what this actually does, this makes these guys worse because these... So, the reason this squad works, Typhus and the guy with the relic in it, and the relic for the OC2, all +1 toughness, can either work. The reason it works is because Typhus can deal actual damage. He has his smite. He's you know got the he's got an actual good melee profile. You know, he's got 6 attacks, flat damage 3. That's pretty good. We like that. A good strength, good AP. And the Bellboys, you've got a damage 2 attack, which is okay. So these guys can do some decent damage in melee. Now, the casters, they are not good in melee, really. Like, they're better than you think. Like, they can bonk little things away, or they can finish things off, but they're realistically, like, they don't really want to be in melee. They want to be shooting. The squad of 20, this is where the problem is. This guy here, on the left, this guy wants to shoot. This guy has a very good shooting profile for his points, and he wants to be shooting. This squad here wants to be humping the shit out of transports or troops that can't kill them and keeping them in combat. Now, the problem is, for these guys to be humping something, this guy, if he's attached, also has to be there. And then the problem is that he then can't shoot. And the other problem you have is, sometimes dealing no damage is a good thing because it means you can wrap something, even like single characters. Like, I've wrapped combi lieutenants and not killed them, and that is good because now he's trapped in there because I've fully surrounded him, so he can either desperate escape and die, or stay there and my Poxwalkers can't get shot. Now, the problem is, if this guy's in here, if he makes the charge, he might actually kill the thing. Unlikely, but he might. So they kind of go opposed in like how they want to work, and not only that, this guy attaching loses these guys' greatest asset, which is Infiltrate. When he attaches, you can no longer infiltrate this 20 squad of Poxwalkers. So the whole strength of the Shamble Rot is the board control. You lose it on all of these 2 big squads here. So I'm just not a huge fan of. Sustain Hits is fun. It is. But I think, honestly, if you wanted to do 20-man squads with Playcasters and have them actually maybe potentially deal some damage, play Champions and use the same thing, because then you can at least make these guys T6 on demand. You can also then give them crit 5s on demand, which means that every successful hit a Poxwalker gets is just an automatic lethal hit. And you might do some damage. And it'll also be sustained 5s as well. That would actually be, like, okay. And still, again, I refrain again, okay at best. But in Shamble Rot, the damage just isn't really there for the pot. Weirdly, like, I was 100% expecting Shamble Rot to have a full rerolls to hit and wound for a Poxwalker unit for a CP. Like, that would have been awesome, and it definitely wouldn't have broke them at all. So to not see them get that means that they're very damage capped on what they can actually do. So in this instance, like, as someone in chat has said, you would be better getting these guys just dropping the spawn, getting them a Rhino, and then you have a Plague Bus. Like, that would be, and obviously, if you don't want to do it, obviously you don't got to do it, but, like, that would be much more impactful in the game. because now you've got another really scary shooting threat to go along with your other shooting threats back here, which would be a lot more powerful. And now these guys are free to infiltrate, clog things up, charge things, and that's really the strength of them. And if you wanted to go super aggro here, you could even potentially change out Talisman of Burgeoning for the Lord of the Walking Pox. Now, this unit can also come in from turn 1 Rapid Ingress from reserves, so technically all of this has infiltrate. These are 5 squads here actually infiltrate, and these guys can arrive turn 1 with a Rapid Ingress and you're as close to your opponent as possible. That's very much like an overwhelming horde. So if you wanted to like have that feel of an overwhelming like zombies is just all over the place, that is something you could do. So there's potential there. Again, I need to... You could do that if you potentially swap out his enhancement. I need to remind myself what the cost of the enhancements are. Give me 2 seconds. Because that might save you the 5 points that you need for the Plague Bus as well. Let's have a look. There we are. Shamble Rot Victorum. Come on. So again, it kind of depends the vibe you want to go for with the list, though. Shamble Rot, Victorium. There you go. Enhancements. Talisman. Yeah, so Talisman is the most expensive, so that would allow you to do it. So you could go Lord of the Walking Pox. That would allow you a turn 1 Rapid Ingress, and then that means then you can get your Rhino. That would be, and again, it depends on the vibe you want to go for, Locus or Dylan, as you are in chat here. If you want that sort of overwhelming horde of zombies, because then at that point, you can literally have turn 1, if you get it, potentially put in, you know, 90 Poxwalkers here, and then you've got another 30 coming in separate ways afterwards, which then allows this to take over the rest of the board. And then where they start breaking out, obviously the Death Shroud can sort of respond to that. So, kind of depends how you want to play it. If you want to play it more like a controlled, heavier shooting style of list, that's where you start looking at just taking 10 man. So you'd cut like 2 of these squads of Poxwalkers here, you'd cut the spawn, use that to get yourself a Rhino and probably get another shooting piece. But at that point you start debating the Death Shroud, because you're like, oh, it's kind of all about shooting. But if you want the actual feel of like overwhelming zombie hordes, this will work. But I would recommend just not having the casters in here, swapping him to Lord of the Walking Pox and getting the Rhino, and that would do you so much better. Because then, you gotta remember, your list is actually this. This is actually your list. You just obviously get these in later turns, but that's actually your list. And that would feel very fun as well. So I would say consider it in that sort of aspects, in like what you want the list to do and how you want the list to play. If you want the more competitive edge, that is the more like sort of like shooting focus, like using just lots of 10-man screens. But if you want the actual feeling of zombie horde overwhelming, which can still win games, it's not bad by any means of the measure. It's just a case of just being a bit, allowing these guys to infiltrate is the main thing, because drip feeding Poxwalkers doesn't tend to work because they're not tanky enough to like sort of drip feed, and they can't trade them because they don't trade. It's all about just like keep going like that. And so just all at once is going to be a lot harder for someone to deal with. Now you could swap the LOC to an LOV because that supports your shooting package a bit more, but the problem would there be you could do that. That's actually fine. Obviously, you lose a bit of damage on that squad because obviously LOC hits a lot harder. But it does mean that the LOV can then support these guys here, and they still got good shooting profile. Like that's also completely fine. If you want to keep up +1 toughness, that is completely fine. I would not say this is like drastically worse because we've not got LOC in here. Obviously, it becomes a bit less of a delete anything unit here. But again, that's just nature of the beast. But it becomes your shooting package in the here will become a lot more reliable. It's just one of those like, do you want the LOC to have a squad that's just really good in melee, or would you rather have a less good melee squad? Still kill a lot of things in melee, don't get me wrong, but he also is going to be able to buff all of this back here, these haulers here, and just make them a little bit more reliable as well. It really does help out the HBL drones, I will say that. It does. Like, reroll to hits for those really stops them being as casino-y and makes them become quite scary. So, like, I would also be okay with that. So, if you really wanted to keep the T5 on there, I would also be... Can we grab the entire army, please? Apparently not. I would also be extremely like okay with that. That is also still a fine list there, sir. So hopefully that gives you some sort of like information on sort of Shamble rotting it up. And I do always love to see the zombie horde. It is surprisingly fun to play. I thought I wouldn't enjoy it when I played it, but I did genuinely have an absolute blast playing zombie horde, Shamble rot. Just tying people up is so funny. So yeah, that would also work, mate. So you can pick your poison on that one, but recommendations for me would to be try and get a Rhino in there, detach the Plaguecasters, let the Poxwalkers just be that overwhelming tide of bodies on the table into your opponent's face, and then use sort of like your gunline back here. And if you want it again, the choice is completely yours. You can either swap the T5 enhancement for the turn 1 from reserves, or you can swap out the LOC to an LOV, keep your T5 brick here, and then obviously just, you have a bit more of a shooting impact rather than a sort of melee delete everything detachment. Sorry, list. Cool. I'm running a zombie. Yeah, more people are using them. Like they're using less. Yeah, it's always like, I do think we are genuinely in one of the better states for a book and what detachments are usable. I do genuinely think any detachment is usable and can do well. You can go 4-1 at least with any detachment. 5-0 bracket is, to be fair, that's not a Death Guard problem. That's called an Ultramarine problem. That's very hard to do right now. But it is still doable. People are still doing it. So it's not like it's all, doom and gloom. But I do think like you can 100% have positive win rates with any detachment in this book. Even Death Lord's Chosen, which is one that got nerfed the hardest, even though it didn't really deserve it. So yeah. Sorry, Hugh. There you go. I'll have a nice little, there you go, cinematic. There you go. Through the ranks of the Poxwalkers we go. Through the ranks of the Poxwalkers. And then we got the demon engines, and some Terminators and more demon engines, and the beloved Plague Bus, and then Typhus, my boy. There you go. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm still taking requests. Still taking requests for lists to look at, mate. If you want to slam a jam that in there, mate, 100%. I do. I'm gonna guess it's like HRV147. I'm gonna say Harvey, maybe. I don't know. I do because I'm an idiot. Yeah, Phil, that's fine. Yep, we can do Phil. We can do Phil. That is more than fine. We can do Phil's and we can do online Olivers, 100%. I'm more than fine with that. Again, we've not got too many blind odds in, so just keep shoving them in. So I'm not at Nottingham next week. I'm actually, my next event is, so I've got an RTT on the 18th, I think it is. Oliver will crit me in chat. And that's the one we're going to do the stream where you guys get to build my list for me. So God knows what fresh horrors you're going to unleash upon me. And then the next one that is the ITT in February to go and play for Vanguard Tactics. So that's going to be quite interesting. But it's just, I've not had a chance to go to, I might go Manchester GT, but I'm not going nuts this year, unfortunately. Apologies if you're hoping sort of like catches there or something. But if you are going, I hope you have a blast. Tiptoe through the zombies, Nuggles Garden, that's where I'll be. Come tiptoe through Poxwalkers with me. So he's got 80, he's got 80 Poxes pain. I have 120. I have 120 zombies because I played Terminus Est, because I'm an idiot, back in last edition, which was like literally the zombie detachment that came out in a campaign book, because I'm an idiot. But it was very fun. It was very, very fun to play. Right. Here, oh god. Here we go. Okay. What is the... So this list is called, What is the Charge? Firing some indirect? A succulent PBC indirect? Get your hands off my PBC Enos! So, if anyone doesn't get the reference, lucky you. I unfortunately do get the reference, and it is very, very clever. So you can guess where we're going with this one. Bam, bam, bam. We're playing... Oh, we've got two Morty's Hamlet. Okay, we've got two Morty's Hamlets coming in here. So we can do both of these, that's fine. So we'll do both of these, and we can also do Phil. Was it Phil, was it? In the chat. Let me just go check my names again. It was... Yeah, it was Phil, yeah, no problem. Right, so let's go for this. So we've got a lot of Contagion first up. Where's my lot of Contagion at? There we go. So a lot of Contagion and an LOV, rocking the Tendrillus Emissions, the most overcosted enhancement in the book, in my opinion. But hey, I'm a Mortarian's Hammer hater. Malignant Playcasters, I'm going to just assume there's a Rhino, but I won't jump to conclusions. I just paid for that then. There is a Rhino, yep, good. 2 squads of Death Shroud Terminators. Jesus Christ, Oliver, daring today, aren't we? I'm allowed to be sassy to Oliver because I know him in real life. 2 squads of Poxwalkers. Really pushing the boat out here, aren't you, mate? I know this is your ITT list as well. Triple HBL drone. Wow. Wow. You really are something, aren't you? You really are the guy. Triple PBC and a single Mythic Blight Hall. Man, gone are the days of having like another 400 points on this list or something. Okay. So, succulent. There you go. HRV gets it. Succulent Chinese mule. Okay. Oh, you are Eldon. Cool, right? You are Eldon there. Thank you. Okay. So obviously this is a hollowed out husk of what once was. Mortarian's Hammer. Obviously, you can pick in the you can pick at the start of your command phase. Turn battle round. You pick 3 units. And 2 units, sorry, not 2. Imagine 3. You pick 2 units, and they are automatically just contagion. So they get the -1 save, -1 toughness, and you can deep strike absolute nonsense in them. Obviously, this is really good because you have triple plague burst calls, all with the indirect fire, so you can indirect fire quite nicely into things. Now, I will say, normally I would tell you you're not gonna do great because this is not good into things like Victrix Guard because you're gonna pick one of them to be in contagion and they're gonna go, thank you for that. You're gonna hit me on 4s, you're gonna wound me up -1, so you're gonna wound me on 3s, and then I'm gonna have a 3-up save, and like I have 4 wounds, so like maybe you kill a guy. The mortals could be quite nice, but it's not great in that. However, this is a teams list, and there are, believe it or not, there are still armies out there that will absolutely despise you because of the sheer nature of you bringing indirect. Now, one thing we got to consider right now is there are chickens. So I know it sounds weird. So this is a weird one because it's a discussion more about teams list rather than your list particularly. If you can get someone on your team, Oliver, to bring the chicken list, which is, for those who don't know, it's a Chaos Demons list with 3 Laws of Change and Kairos Fate Weaver, because basically they can do indirect through chickens. So you can have they basically have an indirect sort of build list. What you can do is you can pin lists that really don't want to play into indirect by offering them both this list and the chicken list. And then they're going to have a real bad time. I think they're all entropy cannons in this list here, HRV. So you can actually try and pin those lists that don't want to face. So this is things like, again, Dark Eldar is a bit interesting because obviously, because you're quite low on screens, the Dark Eldar can just like run into you and charge at you. So that might be an instance where maybe you start considering taking some spitters, maybe like a spitter for a forward play BC to play, so then he can sort of like shoot himself out of combat. But if you get first turn, you just shoot like a Hellion Brick, it's just gone, and then you shoot the next one, it's just gone. Like, it can really, really hurt people. Like, this doesn't want to go against guard. It doesn't want to go against any sort of melee rush down thing because it can be really nasty. But don't forget, you've still got really nasty melee threats here. What you want to pair into is anyone that's looking to play a neutral game. Anyone that is trying to go, I'm going to sit behind my walls and my objectives and I'm going to send out guys just here, there. Anyone wants to play that neutral game hates this because you are basically forcing them to do something or die. So, as for the list itself, like it's just straight up. It obviously is very good. Do you have the 2? Because obviously he's not going to be attached because he's going to be stood near like these guys with the thingy. So do you have 2 squads of Death Shroud still? So yeah. So we obviously talked about how bare bones Death Shroud tournaments can still work. Also, thank you very much, Navanod, for becoming a Plague and mate. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. I forgot to say, leave a like and a subscribe if you can. It really helps the channel grow. And if you want to consider becoming a member, consider it. It's as little as $2.99 a month. You get access to our Discord for lifetime. So even if you only pay once, sorry. So even if Navanod goes and cancels his subscription right now, he's still going to be in the Discord for the rest of his life, so he can join in all the good chats that are going on in there. So thank you so much for the support, though. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So, again, if you are bare bones Death Shroud, these are still good for going in and killing many things that are just going to hide behind a wall. So this means that, again, these guys, again, you think like Dark Eldar, for example, PBC kills 2 units of Hellions. These guys drop down, Flamer another squad to death, charge someone else, kill that. That's 4 units just dead. Like, 4 gone. And that's, again, and if the PBCs roll hot, and they're only running, like, 3-man Reavers and things like that, each one could just kill a unit in indirect. Like, it can get pretty... And again, the mortal wounds can spike and bounce things. And what's really good about this is it can be quite hard, and the reason I really like Plague Bus is it can be quite harsh to push it into this. Because with the Plague Bus lurking, and obviously the ability to drop in a lot of contagion here, if someone pushes it too hard and too early... The damage from the bloat drones and the PBCs when they start just shooting with line of sight is actually horrendous. There's a lot of damage. And the PBC, the Plague Bus can also do an absolute bunch of damage there. So it's not too bad. Now, obviously, you don't particularly score well on like scoring, but it would be... I would be remiss to say this gets... As long as you pair smart and don't pair into like Blood Angels or anything that's going to just run you down, I don't think you get 20 and owed by many things. I genuinely don't think you get 20 and owed by many things in the game at all. For those who don't know, in teams, it's not about winning or losing, it's how much you win or lose by. So if you get beaten by a 50-point deficit, so if you scored 0 and they scored 100, that's obviously a 100-point deficit, that would consider getting 20 and owed. Same as if I lost 100 to 50, I got 20 and owed. So it would be quite hard to 20 and owed this, unless, again, you get an army that can just run at you. So dodge Blood Angels, and this is the thing I want to say to you, Oliver. Right now in the game, Blood Angels are really good. Guard, you don't have a chance, because you aren't fighting their tanks in a duel, and you are not killing Bulgrin ever with this list. Victrix Guard, probably just going to run you down. But what you are good at is killing any of elves, for example. Again, just be careful, Dark Elf, you could run you down, but any elf, any pointy-eared bastard that's trying to jump in and out of transports from behind walls, that's going to be a good matchup for you. And also, don't ever forget how just tilting this list can be to players. People just hate indirect. You could argue, a lot of people would argue probably to get rid of one PBC and put some more extra units in here. I understand though you're going for the full sort of like, you're going for the full brick and meme of it all. So I understand you wanting to have all the three in. What just happened? This PBC is now possessed apparently. Okie dokie, that is a possessed. I'm just going to put him down. That is okay. So, if you go against someone that, like, again, any sort of, like, casualist, even, no, Dark Angels don't really care. I'm trying to think, like, list this, like, actually really hurts. Because it kind of just, like, it lost so much stuff. It did, I know you really want to take the PPC. It did lose a lot of stuff, though. Like, again, you would be sat here with, like, an extra, like, near 300 points at this point. So you could obviously then go, like, another 2 Blight Halls, another squad of Poxwalkers, and that's really obnoxious to sort of deal with at that point. But it still has play just from the nature of how it sort of interacts and plays with the game, and just the sort of like toxic way it kind of like interacts with your opponent's army. So would it be good? Would it be good? It's one of those. If you play it smart, it will be good because it's indirect. It's a scummy thing, and nobody wants to play against it. Like, I'll be honest with you, no one wants to play against it. But drop HBL Hall for some scoring spot. Yeah, so like the Hall could be dropped for, like, honestly, like, you could go like another screen. Like, I wouldn't be remiss, but then the problem is then you float 35 points and look like a twat. Because there's nothing really sort of like how to get there. Which is a bit annoying. Again, you could drop Tenual Submissions, just attach him. And that then gives you another 70 points. So, but again, 70 points doesn't get you anything. So it's caught in a really awkward points trap at the moment, to be honest with you, which is not great. I'm trying to think, because the problem it has is just like it's just so expensive. Like, this is alone 630 points. Like that and these is half the list. Like, that's 630, that's 390. It's over half the list in 6 units, which is basically like you're playing like quite elite army, and then obviously you got the lot of Death Shroud Terminators. I think what else? I mean, this thing's able to move through a wall, which is really good. That genuinely makes Plague a lot more scary and does a lot more damage, and just be able to get angles and give it assault and things like that. There is a world where it still works. It is just a complicated one because of how expensive it is in a world of absolute undercosted nonsense. And you know this, Oliver. You play Marines. You know how absurdly undercosted things are. So you like, your PBCs don't do work, or you lose a PBC early, it's going to be bad. But here's the thing. I'm just going to say it to you. I know Oliver in real life, and I know you're on a Marines thing right now. So my question for you is, I'm not going to sit here and verdict your list. obviously you understand teams. Obviously you understand playing this list and its ups and downs because you've played it before. Are you going to ITT to try and win? Or are you going to ITT to have fun with a list? Because again, I know you wanted to play Marines at ITT, but unfortunately you've been given Death Guard. Because if this is what you're going to have fun with, take this and have fun with it. You can still bring back results with this, 100%. Is it the strongest list you could take to teams? No. But do we always have to run the strongest list? No. So if this is what you want to play and you want to play PBCs, just take this, have an absolute blast with it. Just have an absolute blast. Like, you will have fun regardless. You will at least have fun. Like, if I was to say anything, you could potentially, even though break my heart, you could drop the Plague Bus and just lean super into the thing and just do that. Like, that just leans super into the, like, the sort of, like, here's the engine spam. Like, that just gives you, because you're just getting this thing and split into 2 more, like, demon engine bodies. That would be more of, like, a skew stat checklist. And that would probably feel the traditional role in a team a bit better than the Plague Bus would. But I also am a big Plague Bus stan. So consider those sort of, like, variants there in your list and how you go from there, mate. Johnny Connell, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Really appreciate it. If you get time at the end, could you please do a quick theoretical surgery on an anti-Eldar list? Really appreciate it. Yeah, I can just sort of do like a quick theoretical. That's no problem. We'll do Eldars though. This is I can't before wait to read out. From Victor Laurent 3674. Hello guys, just want to thank you because you're so good at explaining how to play the Death Guard, and that helped me a lot as a new player. Bless Grandfather Nurgle. Thank you so much, and welcome to the hobby as a new player. I'm glad to have you here. I hope you're having an absolute blast with your Death Guard. You chose the right faction. And yeah, I appreciate the kind words. That's all we want to do is try and help people how to play Death Guard, whether you're new or you're experienced. You know, we're all just playing this silly game of models together. So I'm glad you're having success and sort of picking up the army and getting to grips with it easier thanks to the channel. So I appreciate the kind words there, mate. Right, no worries. Right, Eladar, let's go, Eladar. Right, let's have a look. Hammer time. Okay, cool. So it's just another hammer list. That actually makes it a bit easier. So we have Lord of Contagion with the. Am I high here? I have a flex. Is that? Are you just flexing? Is this pure flex, or am I crazy? I'm thinking I'm getting confused. I must be getting confused. Mortarian's hammer. I have affliction. Ranged weapons equipped by the model's units have ignores cover. But you're a Death Shroud. You already ignore cover, you goober. Are you just flexing? Are you purely flexing on someone by saying I have double ignores cover? I want to know. So we've got a LOV with 10 rules and missions. Then we got a Tallyman in here as well. Let's go over Tallyman. Boop, boop. Then we have Typhus. Okay, quite a lot of Termi characters here, but it's not too bad. 1 unit of 2 Chaos Spawn, because again, we've got a lot of Death Shroud looks like coming in, so it's good to have a unit of Spawn in here. We like Spawn, can do a lot of good spreading. 1 squad of Death Shroud, 2 squad of Death Shroud. Let's go steal these off all of it. And there we go. 2 squad of Death Shroud Terminators. Okay, so there's a lot of things right now, a lot of melee threats. So where does the hammer aspect come in? Okay, cool. Right, actually, this might be interesting for Oliver, maybe. So we got 2 HBL drones, 2 Methetic Blight Haulers, 2 PBCs. So this is honestly kind of like a halfway house. And then both Entropy Cannons, and then 3 squads of Poxwalkers. So this is kind of a halfway house between lists. So what we've actually done here is we have got a little bit more screening potential, which I will admit, I do really like 3 squads of Poxwalkers in Mortarian's Hammer just for the screens. And just to have scoring pieces. We have got a Chaos Spawn here. Now, the Chaos Spawn you could argue are a bit redundant because of the ability to just pick and point things in Affliction. But it does free up you to just be completely free to use that for targeting your PBCs and your shooting and just basically be able to have those guys on demand. Now, we have got a Sword Typhus as well. Sword Typhus always good. Do not mind Sword Typhus. We've got 10 plus emissions on this Lord of Virulence here. We have here... Rani, if you've just posted in Blight Surgery, I'll make sure I'll make sure you get the, I'll make sure you are first on the next one. So next Sunday, I will tag you right now. Is that you, Rambo? No worries. I'll make sure next week is will be the last one I got time for tonight. I'll put your little smiley cat on it, and I'll just be like, prio this. So you'll be first up on the next Blight Surgery. You're also playing Crusade. Ooh. Do I need to learn anything about Crusade to do all this, or is it just called Stench Crusade? I need to know that. So I think you had a 325 points. Okay, so you are purely flexing it. Okay, that's fine, because that means I know I've got 25 points to work with. So if we've got 25 points to work with here, I could argue that this spawn could become another hauler, and then again that sort of like brings us to that sort of like that vehicle skew a little better. Just because again it floats it, because the spawn are great, but I don't know if the spawn are particularly better than like a flesh mower drone, for example, because you have a flesh mower, because again you can move through walls detachment. Now we have got a talisman to sit on home. I don't think the talisman is particularly great in hammer, but at the same time I don't want to have one of these screens dedicated to home at the same time. Sometimes you will have to against heavy deep strike armies, but if we can get away with just having the talisman on home, it means we can use our pressure screens more up front, which is always good. So let's get rid of everything. So what other enhancements can we potentially take? So Biobomb Might, can't use that. Shriek. So I would take Shriekworm Familiar 100% over your other one, because Shriekworm Familiar gives you free Overwatch. So I would rather have your Lord of Contagion having the 3 Overwatch. Let me just make sure you didn't put that on the second Lord of Contagion. That's me being daft. No, yeah. So just replace that straight out for Shriekmaw Familiar, because you'll at least have free Overwatch on one of these squads of Death Shroud, which with 4 Flamers is not negligible, especially against things like Guard and lots of screens and chaff units or crew units. Anything that's just trying to stand out or OC to try and take an objective off you, that's going to be pretty good against. This does sort of strike a balance between Oliver's list over here, which goes full PBC-ness, and this is basically pulling away from the PBC. We do drop the Plague Bust, as we said before, which picks us up like another Demon Engine, but it's this instance here. We've also got Typhus, and we have dropped one of the HBL drones for a second Lord of Contagion. So this means we do have 2 incredibly scary melee threats now, which is quite nice because it sort of balances it out. You've still got decent shooting here, still decent. It's not amazing, don't get me wrong. Like, you could potentially like look at maybe putting Typhus and the Chaos Spawn to bed. That's 205 points with the enhancement. Bear in mind, get another bloat drone up. You just put Typhus to bed, drop the enhancement, and get another HBL drone like that. That is something that could work if you wanted to go more shooting heavy, because then you get to keep the spawn. They can sort of do your actions as well. Because Typhus can obviously drop in, do mortal wounds, and do actions, but when you've got spawn, you've got 3 squads of Poxwalkers, you've got a lot of Demon Engines. That's not the worst thing in the world. Obviously, these guys are going to come in charge, so I probably would like a bit of the extra. I think that would probably be better for me. I really like Typhus, but it's so hard to fit him in with, like, the points are so high on certain things. And I think this gets more use out of the Tendril submissions as well, because he's got more buffing now. His ability to reroll hit rolls for hit rolls is getting more, for blast weapons is getting a lot more power here. Whereas Typhus, he's good in the list in terms of scoring and just being able to get places with his little base and deep strike, but he doesn't offer any synergy back to the list, so he's just a sort of like a selfish piece of scoring. Still good, don't get me wrong, but in this instance here, we want to make sure that we basically, what we're trying to do is we're trying to say, hey, if you come out, you die, which this will now do with 3 shots here. You've got 3 HBL drones. These 2 can obviously shoot direct, and so can these. But if you stay behind a wall, I can still threaten you, which 2 PBCs, admittedly, like, don't get me wrong, we love 3 PBCs, but 2 can still threaten squishy scoring pieces behind walls pretty well. And then what you're saying is, but if you do absolutely nothing, I will blast away your screen slowly, and then I will have a big turn where these 2 busters just drop in and slam into you real hard. If I'm being honest, and you're probably still in the chat, Oliver, like, this is probably what I would take more to teams than this one, because I think it has a bit more play, like, in like against more armies. Like, I think it is strong because it's still got the heavy shooting component. It's still got a decent amount of indirect, not obviously the crazy triple that we all love to see, but it also has, like, you still got the spawn there for a bit of scoring pressure as well. The Demon Engine's just obviously making up a lot of space here. You got still 1, 2, 3, 5. Still got 7 vehicles, which is like still decent chunky amount. Your Terminator's T7 as well. And you've got an extra screen as well, which I think is incredibly important in this, because again, the biggest weakness of this is getting ran down. If you get ran down in here, because you've got to bear in mind, when the game starts, this is what's on the board. If I am a melee army, am I scared of any of this? If I get into melee range? No. So, buying time for turn 2, and again, you could go second, so it'd be 2 full turns your opponent, is incredibly important. So having multiple layers of screens, and the time man here can also sit on home, whereas in this list here, Oliver, you're basically committed to having this on your home object. Like, you have PBC, I suppose, that could sit on home, but then your PBC is never going to get to, like, get good angles to shoot things directly. So you can still obviously use 2 screens up front here and just sack one, but the Tallyman here does sort of alleviate the need to do that against things like World Eaters, and you will literally deploy them in a massive conga line, maximum coherency. You know, you'll chuck them around like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, and then you'll just dog bone it right at the end. So it'd be something like, you can get way more movement than that. It'd be something like that, and you're just basically just going to say, hey, slam into this. You know, just that's what I mean. The screens are just super important, especially for something like Hammer, which is pure gunline. That's the reason the Shamble Rat build works so well with pure gunline, because it's just really hard to get to. It's why guards are really good at the moment, because they've got so many screens and some of them are stupidly tough. Like what do you call it? Like bloody Bullgrin. There's no reason for them to be as tough as they are, but they are. So that can be incredibly hard to break through, and if you can't break through it, you get shot to pieces. So let's take a lesson from our overpowered friends at guard and play it a bit like them. So I would recommend, if you're going, I reckon this could be a good list to take to ITT, and also this is probably what I'd recommend for your changes as well, Mr. Phil, is to just get rid of the Typhus, get those 25 points back, try and get a third HBL drone in there just to shore up that shooting profile. And part of that though, list looks super solid, mate. List looks really solid. Looks like it'll do pretty damn well, that list. Me like it. So yeah, that's sort of like 2 Hammer lists, a Virulent Vectorium list with Morty and the Imprints, and a Shambler Horde list tonight. So we got a few from some different variety here. Now, very quick question was asked before to sort of give time for the sort of like Anti-Aeldari list. If you want like a theoretical surgery on like an Eldar list, oh man, it's basically, if you get, so first turn against Eldar is incredibly important. So Eldar hate PBCs, I will say this, especially bike builds and things like that. These are good against Eldar, but they are very expensive. Now the fact you can't get boated as easily by fire dragons is good. It's not going to be easy for them to just reach out and just kill these things from behind walls, which is really strong. Again, if Eldar start moving away from fire dragons, Mortarion and the Demon Prince here comes potentially really strong, because they are just really annoying models for them to deal with. They don't have good melee profiles to deal with them, and their anti-tank outside of fire dragons isn't the best. Like Dark Reapers are not really that scary to Morty and the Demon Prince. Warp Spiders aren't really doing much. Howling Banshees you're just going to laugh at in combat because you're like strength 4, because they rely on their anti-infantry normally, but obviously you're not infantry. So that's like something that you could do there. But if you want to, so like, Anti-Aeldari is strange, because Eldar, right now, I don't know the Eldar build, because they're still figuring it out. We've seen someone do well with bikes, and again, if bikes become a thing, PBC the shit out of them. They hate that. The Eldar bikes literally cannot do anything about PBCs, and they die, and it's very funny. If you're back to the more normal stylist, Taliban is really good against Eldar, because you can play back a bit more on your range, because you've got extra contagion range. Sorry, they can't play back as much anymore, because you have that extra contagion range when you want it. Like a Lord of Poxes inside of Rhino, near a demon, can have a turn 2 12-inch contagion. As I said before, it's all about being aggressive and getting on top of your opponent as quickly as possible. So being able to turn 2 12-inch contagion and then just drop shit in and just like slam. Like Plague Bearers will kill elves. Like having a 5-inch charge off a Beckoning Blight from 10 Plague Bearers into a squad of elves will kill them. Like they are easy to kill. They are not hard to kill, these silly elf things. And then Death Shroud can come in, they kill a bunch. And again, because elves are so expensive, once the aspect where you start dying, their damage drops off a roof considerably. And it's just the overwhelming force on top of them. Rotagus laughs so hard at Eldar, especially if they don't have fire dragons, because he just drops all the aspect warriors to OC0, and you're just like, cool, I just hold this objective for the rest of the game. But if you go into like a more standard build, like MSU Plague Marines, so just mass 5-man Plague Marines in Virulent Vectorum. They hate that because 5 Plague Marines with access to Grenade, with access to all hits and wounds for 1 command point, will pick up any Elf infantry unit, especially. Like, you shoot 1 Flamer, you roll like a 4 on the shots, wounded on 2s, there you go. Take 4 4 up saves, or 4 5 up saves. Oh, there you go, 3 out of your 5 guys are dead, cool. Now I've got 2 Plasma Guns from the same squad, and a Blight Launcher, and I can charge you. Like, basically, Eldar prey really well on expensive units, but because they're expensive themselves, like, they're trading, even though they can trade because they run a lot of 5-mans, it's not that ideal. If they have a trade go bad for them, it can really fall apart pretty quickly for them. And especially if you're being aggressive into them. Plague Bus is so funny versus elves, because you can literally drive this thing up. I've had elves behind a wall like this, thinking they're safe, because the Plague Bus is over here. I just drive to the other side of the wall, disembark through the wall, and just flame and just kill like 2 squads, just like that. Just like 2 squads dead. And then if they want to then move in their turn, they then have to waste an Overwatch token down here, which means that now the Fire Dragons or something, if I've put like a vehicle, like a fetid bloat drone with the spitters on an objective, I know now my opponent's in a point where you either get overwatched by the Playcasters and don't touch my objective with my bloat drone on it, or you let a unit get overwatched by a Playcaster, which probably kills it, and then you can no overwatch and go and deal my bloat drone on the objective. So either way, I'm getting a win out of that. So it's kind of things like that when it comes to elves. A lot of it is just trying to get on top of them sort of as quickly as possible, and just trying to make them have to play your game. Like, sitting back only works if you have PVCs, but you can't sit behind walls against Eldar without indirect. It just doesn't work, because they'll send stuff out, pick you off an objective, they'll stay on theirs, and in the late game they're just way faster than you, so they get rid of all your scoring units, then you have to commit real things out and they just kill you. It's better to instead just chuck stuff out, and like turn 1, charge them with Poxwalkers, send the spawn in, big turn 2, drop everything in, slam it into the face. And if you're going to do that as well, you want to be stood on objectives at the same time, but not with the things that are getting aggressive. So for example, if you go like this, so let's say these Poxwalkers are pushing into my opponent, like they're over here. Like, if I've got a vehicle back here, like a Rhino, and I can't get into their lines with this thing, so even though I've dropped in like Death Shroud over here, they're doing something over there, I've got a Blight Hold on doing things, and, you know, Plague Bus somewhere else doing things. Like, stand these things that can't reach them on objectives, because now what you're going to do is you're going to strain your opponent's action economy, because yes, they 100% can jump past you and kill this Rhino, but then they're not dealing with the things that are killing them. The Eldar do not defend very well. They attack incredibly well, but for holding objectives, super easy to kill them off it. So go for the home objective. Just fucking send it. And if they come out to kill your thing here, cool. You then just go, cool, I don't score primary, but I'm going to keep killing you, and I'm on your home objective and I took it. And if instead they start, you know, trying to kill the way out of the problem, they kill the Poxwalkers, they kill this Plague Bus or this vehicle, you're holding primary at least. And if they try and do both things, where they're trying to kill this and try and stop your primary, that's when they really fuck up, because all it takes is one skew dice roll. So they commit 1 squad of Fire Dragons to kill this squad of Death Shroud Terminators up here, and they whiff it, or you spike 4-ups. Now this isn't dead, this might not die either. Like, the more you split your fire, the more odds you have for something to go wrong. Obviously makes sense. If 10 things are shooting one thing, it has way more odds to kill it than 10 things shooting at 10 things. Like, the 1 thing's definitely dead, the 10 things you might kill like 2 or 3. Like, so it's just about overloading them and making them like fail their activations. And because the thing is, again, once an elf activates, especially now it can't just hop back behind transports behind a wall, they're really going to struggle. Yes, ABC as well. Always be charging. Anything can kill an elf. Rhino, charge it in. Tank shock it. Watch 4 elves die. Laugh. Melee it. Kill another elf. Laugh. Like, just always be charging them, because, again, you can kill them with knives, you can kill them with Poxwalkers, you can kill them with Rhinos. Lock stuff up. Yes, they have fallback and shoot and charge, but it costs them a strat on a unit, or I can't remember if it's that or is it Battlefield. Only one thing can do it a turn. So lock up multiple. Like, just find ways to constantly putting pressure on them. Don't let them play their game. Don't let them dance around you. So hopefully that's like some ideas like for you to how to sort of deal with an Eldar player, or just point out the fact that they're an Eldar player and then report them to the nearest authorities so that they can get dealt with in the correct manner. I was going to make that far worse. But yeah, that's going to wrap us up here for tonight. So So my friend Rani, I will make sure you are first on the next one. We'll make sure we do yours first up there. For now, though, I'm going to sort of wrap up here. So again, if you do want to consider getting your list looked at in the future, do consider becoming a Blight Lord tier member. That's a bit higher paid, but it is guaranteed you get your list sort of looked at. Plague Marines can sometimes, when Blight Lord is empty, like today, we've managed to look at a couple of Plague Marines, looked at 3 Plague Marines today. Have the list, but it is quite low odds just because it depends how crazy and how many lists are coming in. But we do try and get through a variety. We tend not to try and just go over the same thing over and over, but we do try and keep it varied. But coming up next week, obviously, me itself, Will and Dave are back. All 3 of us are back on Tuesday for our usual stream. Then I'm going to have a video up this week talking about the new Battle Force box that got announced and whether you should buy it or not. Probably. If you're new, you don't have the models. Like, yeah, if you were brand new to the hobby right now, I'd be like, get the Battle Force, obviously price dependent. But I'd be like, get the Battle Force box, get the Combat Patrol, boom, shit's a winner. And also yelling at people not to build the Plague Spitter drones from that box. Please do not do that. Use eBay. There's so many Plague Spitter drones you can get for like £10. So yeah, I look forward to some more comment. Obviously, we've just put up a how-to Plague Bus video, so if you're interested to try and get the most out of the Plague Bus, you can check that out. And I'll try and have some more things up this week. Hugh, you'll never let this go, will you? I'm never going to win this one, am I? I keep unpaid bills. I put it to the back of my mind and don't think about it. Yet you hunt me down. You're like, you know what? You're like the TV licensing agency. You just won't let me go, will you, Hugh? You just can't let me have this, can you? No, I'm not getting into Titus. I'm not raging about Titus on this one. I'm not. No, I'm so sick of Ultra. You want the honest reason I'm not going to Nottingham? It's Ultramarines. I am so tired of Ultramarines right now, and I just don't want to go to an event where there's 500 Ultramarine players and Guard players and just be miserable. Because I can beat them. I can beat them to a degree. Obviously, I'm not going to beat anyone that's really good with them. But, like, my God. It is not a fun experience. If you play them, you should definitely feel bad. Same for to get help at your door. Good lord, good lord, please no. You have to get a what's it called from the government? To get is it not a permit? Oh, what's the word, Rabba? What's the word in that? The when someone has to get like a thing to be able to come into your house. Not a permit, a warrant. That's it. You have to get a warrant and kick down my door, Hugh, and then forced feed the cheddar into my mouth. But to display from my view on Discord, I will check it out for you, Johnny. I'll check it out on your thing. Are you a Blight Lord tier member or a Plague Marine tier member? It doesn't matter. Blight Lords, obviously, for Blight Lord surgery. If you are, I will check it out though. Sometimes it can just be buggy on Discord and it just looks weird. But I will check your permissions for you, mate. Right. That should, like I said, bring us to the end of stream tonight though. So thank you so much for tuning in. If I want to play tickets to this, I'm not a hobbit. I'm a dwarf. There's a difference. The hobbits are lame. I'm cool. So yeah, I'll catch you all on the next one. I got little to yell at. Jesus Christ. I'll catch you all on the next stream on Tuesday or video it before potentially. For now though, enjoy. Unfortunately, the rest of my holidays is over now. I'm back in work tomorrow. Boo. So yeah, yay for that one. And I will catch you all. So hopefully, maybe if you got some more time off, you can. Are you gonna play a game on stream? Do you mean like an event or like or do you mean like a TTS game? Because they just don't tend to stream. Like streaming in the UK is just not that common at events. Like UK TC is like started doing it, but it's like 400 players, so it's like the odds of you getting put on the one stream table is quite low. But if I do, I'll obviously make sure to mention it. I'll obviously put a shout if we ever play on stream. But yeah, we could do a TTS, I suppose, but TTS is a strange one to stream. I don't feel like it has the same vibe. But yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna stop rambling. So until next, everybody, just a game local. If I could, it's so hard. It's so hard to get cameras and stuff set up. It's if I can get Lords of War on like a Monday Mayhem to set up a stream again for like the last time we did the custom list, we'll see if we can do it because that was quite funny last time. Wow, look at this rattling pretending to be voted. I'm getting ripped apart here. I'm gonna go cry in the shower. Look what you've done. Right, no worries, Johnny. I'll check it out for you, mate. For now though, take care. I'll see you all later. Bye bye for now.
In the void, where the warp winds howl, a fleet once noble, now destined to fall. Grave wardens stir, betrayal takes shape, Typhon's whispers, sealing their fate. Navigators lost to the shadowed lie, a fleet adrift beneath a darkened sky. The warp's cruel grasp, unyielding and tight, chaos awaits in the endless night. Whispers of power, a pestilent tide, Mortarian's pride, with nowhere to hide. The destroyer plague, a grim reward, Nurgle's laughter echoes aboard. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The death god transformed, never the same. Plague-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Mortarian stands, his sons by his side. Through agony storm, their oaths collide. Grandfather's hand, the pact is sealed, the legion reborn, their fate revealed. Lies in the armor, rot in the soul, a Primarch remade, his heart grown cold. In terror's shadow, their war drums beat, pestilent warriors, no chance of retreat. Through breach and ruin, their banners fly.